Hi, this is an explanation for week 9. This week is all about poetry, so you will read chapter 4 of the textbook and an article prior to analyzing a poetry book for children. You're going to respond to questions about the approaches used to teach poetry. You'll view a video and create poetry workstations. You're going to create an I am or an I am from or a bio poem, and you're going to complete the weekly author study. I'm going to click on week 9. Here is the poetry wiki that you will put all your work in this week, and don't forget to comment on 2 of your colleagues' postings for each of the activities this week. You're going to read chapter 4 in the textbook and the article reviewing poetry, which is right here, the link for it is. You're going to select a book of children's poetry. It's one that you may possess right now at your home. It may be one that you will find in the library. It may be one that you will find in a store along the way that you want to keep for your collection, or you might just go to Barnes & Nobles or a store like that and use the book there and write your review for the book using the checklist that you'll find in the textbook, Assessing Quality in Poetry. It's figure 4.1, and the information from the article and the textbook are going to be used in your analysis of this children's poetry book. You're going to put your review in the poetry wiki, and you'll read 2 of your colleagues' postings and comment on them on the review. This is the article. Your second activity is to look at 2 different approaches for teaching poetry. They're not the only approaches, but there are 2 that you can use. And there are at least 2 distinct approaches to teaching poetry. One way is to teach the classics during a concentrated unit on poetry, meaning that you will have a poetry unit of instruction for maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. It could even be 3. You're going to work on discovering the meaning of a poem and the poetic devices that a poet used to convey that meaning. Another approach is just to read poetry aloud regularly, allow children to respond in a variety of different ways, providing modern collections of poetry for children to browse through, planning and encouraging experiences with choral reading, and teaching how poems work when students demonstrate an interest. Now I want you to discuss the differences in those 2 approaches that you think there are. You can use your own opinion, your own experiences, or information from the internet. What assumptions does, and I'm saying assumptions, does each approach hold? What are the pros and cons of each approach? How will classroom practice differ between the 2 approaches? How might children's responses to poetry differ? What assumptions does each of these approaches hold? Does the age of the student make a difference in using each of these approaches? I want you to respond to these questions in a Word document and post your responses to these questions in the Poetry Wiki this week. Of course, you're going to read 2 of your colleagues' postings, and you're going to comment on those 2 postings. You're going to view a poetry workstation video. This is a video about poetry workstations in a classroom, and then after viewing the video, you're going to create 4 poetry workstations that you think you would use in your classroom. Now make sure at least 1 station involves technology. 1 station needs to be teacher guided, so you will be working mostly with those students at that group. It won't be done independently at that group, so pick an activity that would need your guidance. The other 2 stations will be done independently, and they can involve technology or they don't need to. It's up to you. You can find lots of ideas for these stations using resources such as Pinterest or other teacher websites. Please do not use worksheets unless they're used for instructions. I want you to create a hands-on engaging activity for each station. You'll write this in a document. If you need to add some links, you're more than welcome to. And then guess what? Yes, you're going to post this document in your poetry wiki this week. And I want you to comment on 2 of your colleagues. I know it doesn't say that right here in the instructions, but you're hearing me say that now. You need to post on 2 of your colleagues' postings a comment. Then I want you to get some creative juices going and create your own poem. So using the information found below right here, you're going to write an I am, or I am from, or a bio poem. All of those types of poems are in this information here. And if you read my poem that I wrote, you can see that as an exemplar. And there are other exemplars for the other types of poems in the information found below. And yes, you're going to post your poem in the Poetry Wiki, and guess what? You are right. You're going to comment on 2 of your colleagues' poems. Here is my exemplar, and you can click on that to read that if you'd like. This is the Author Study Wiki. Now you're going to click on this wiki and locate the video that you have not viewed yet. That's what we're going to do every week. There will be a new video added of a new author, and you're going to view that video and complete the activities and post the activities, your responses, whatever it takes, to the comment section so you get credit for completing this portion of this week. And last but not least, I just have some resources I've collected over time on how to teach poetry, and you're welcome to open this folder and take a look at them and copy them if you'd like and keep them yourself. So this is all about poetry this week. Remember, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Otherwise, I will see you online.